Thursday lineup. Buster Olney, talk a little baseball with us. We haven't talked to Buster in a little bit, so we'll talk to Buster Olney at 7 o'clock. Adam Kaplan, one of our fine NFL insiders, will be with us at 7:30. In the 8 o'clock hour, we'll have the 1-2 punch of Gary Dieter and Anthony Sherman. We'll see if they're both in studio or Gary Dieter will join us by phone again. Jesse Newell will join us by phone. And so Jesse Newell, normally in studio, he'll be on the phone today from the Kansas City Star. He covers the Kansas City Chiefs for the Star. And so a little sprinkle of baseball, then football, and then more football because it's football season. So that's how we do this around here. So there's lots to talk about, of course. You got the big weekend coming up in college football, the Chiefs and their road trip to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. So that should be interesting. Should be a really good game. Well, hell, it's a rematch from the divisional round of the playoffs last year. And so we'll see how Jacksonville looks as they go to they look to go to 2-0, and the Chiefs trying to avoid hitting 0-2. Yesterday we had some. Well, those are the people you wanted to hear from, I think, yesterday. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, of course. And I think if you had to pick two Chiefs players that you wanted to hear comments from, I bet Chris Jones and Kadarius Toney were at the top of the list. And that's who spoke yesterday. So we won't waste a whole lot of time getting into the comments yesterday made by Chris Jones and Kadarius Toney. The practice injury report has been released by the Kansas City Chiefs. And yesterday, Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not practice. And then the limited participants were Chris Jones, Killer Travis Kelce, and L'Jarius Sneed. And then listed as full participants with various injuries, Richie James, Nick Jones, Kadarius Toney, and Tershawn Turk Wharton. So, all right, that sounds good. It's always exciting to see the Chiefs get closer and closer to becoming whole. They were without two of their best players. They were without two of the top 10 players in the NFL in Week 1, and there's a chance they could get both of them back at least in some type of role for Sunday's game against Jacksonville. So fingers crossed, and we'll see what happens with the team on Sunday. Tonight, it's Thursday night, so get back into that. Last Thursday night sucked. I mean, it sucked up until the end of the game. It was a really good night for most of the evening, and it felt like it was part of the script, the NFL script that everyone knows exists. That the Chiefs were going to be in a close game, and then they were going to find a way to win it in the fourth quarter, and we'd all go home happy. That did not happen. Everything followed script until Kadarius Toney dropped a pass, and there was no chance for a game-winning field goal. But this Thursday should be a lot less stress, as you got a very good matchup between two of last year's playoff teams. You've got the Minnesota Vikings at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Vikings also looking to avoid starting 0-2. I think they're going to have a hard time doing it, as the Eagles will be hosting the Vikings, the Eagles, for their home opener. And so that's tonight on Amazon Prime, Vikings and Eagles. Eagles favored by 6 points tonight against the Minnesota Vikings. And so good NFC matchup for you tonight on Thursday Night Football. Let's hear a couple of clips just to start off with Chris Jones, because that was, I think, the number one person that everyone wanted to hear from yesterday, and lots of interesting comments from number 95. Here, Chris Jones was asked if he was happy. If he was happy with his representation from the Katz brothers throughout all this mess.
Absolutely. I chose my representation years ago. I kind of made that decision not to come to camp. I didn't want to be a distraction of holding in, and I'm super pleased with how it turned out. I'm back in the building. I'm excited to be back. thankful for the organization. They was able to boost my salary up to make up for the fines and everything. I'm super grateful for that. And we're focused on winning the next game. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars coming in. Very good team. Coming off a loss to Detroit Lions, which is tough. But yeah, we're looking for a bounce back week.
Let's skip ahead to number 4. Chris Jones was asked if he would have done anything differently.
I'll probably change some things. You know, when you have a lot of new guys, it's kind of tough to be away. Especially in the D-line room, building that chemistry is important to be successful as a group. But, you know, those are decisions you have to live with. I wouldn't probably change it, but I'm grateful for how it turned out. I'm thankful for the Hunt family and Brett Veach and Coach Reed working with my team closely to making sure we ensure that we're able to come up to terms with something that we both can agree on.
So when you said at the start that you probably would change some things, is it just being here? I mean, do you think that was something that you would have changed in the process?
I don't know.
Chris, you said you might change some things if you had your holdout to do over. Can you be specific about what you change?
Probably change my vacation spot.
Could you say Joseph, Missouri by chance?
Probably so, right?
All right. So let's here, let's go back to number 2. Chris Jones was asked if he thinks this could be his last year with the Chiefs.
I can't look forward to next year. Right now, we focus on. I'm glad to be back this year. This is my last year. Hopefully, we can get something worked out after the year for long term. I reiterated multiple times. I plan to play for the Kansas City Chiefs for a long haul in my career. That doesn't change because of the past situation. And we focus on Jacksonville, man. We focus on Jacksonville.
Here, let's play number 3. Chris Jones was asked, trying to trick me, can't do it. This is about how much, see, it's the same exact throws, too. I'm not Anchorman!
Todd Lebo.
This was here, how much he'll play on Sunday, I'm guessing, against Jacksonville.
I don't know. We'll have to see Sunday.
Do you feel like you're in football shape?
I don't know. We'll find out today, right?
Here's a good one. Number 5, Chris Jones was asked if it felt strange watching the game from the seats last Thursday night.
It all felt crazy. First time I ever sat in my suite. I see what I paid so much money for a year for. Food was great, though. Food was amazing. But it was a different viewpoint, you know. I got to see it from a fan's point of view. I see how the fans be like, y'all have us stressed out the whole game. I was kind of biting my nails and everything the whole game, but yeah.
Did it make you feel like I got to get back? Did it make you feel like that at all, or?
I'm here, am I?
Yes, he's here. Chris Jones is back. So there is a somewhat playful, somewhat bizarre returning press conference for Chris Jones. We have some more comments from Chris Jones now that he's back and expected to play on Sunday. Andy Reid spoke. Kadarius Toney talked. Patrick Mahomes Todd Lebo talked with defensive tackle Derek Nottie. So we got a bunch of good stuff from Arrowhead, Buster Olney, Adam Kaplan, Gary Dieter, Anthony Sherman, Jesse Newell, all that and more between now and 10 o'clock right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're tuned into the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bukaty on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here for my friends with Polymagic. Oh, boy, Polymagic is awesome. ESPN Plus. This was a notebook from basically an around the NFL notebook that was packed with some information from Jeremy Fowler and Dan Graziano. And actually some really good stuff because they asked Jeremy Fowler what his fantasy football call of the week was, and he says George Pickens is going to have a big performance. And boy, that would make me happy, but I'm not feeling confident. But they asked, what else are you hearing this week? And Jeremy Fowler emptied his notebook and led off with a couple of paragraphs about Chris Jones. And you guys could tell me if you find anything interesting the way I did here. After asking around on the Chris Jones situation that got awkwardly resolved this week, my take, and this is Jeremy Fowler, my take is the Chiefs were willing to make him the second highest paid defensive tackle in the league on a new deal, which indicates higher than Jets defensive tackle Quentin Williams' average of $24 million per year. But the gap between Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald's $31.7 million per year and the rest of the field is sizable. And the two sides couldn't find a sweet spot somewhere in between. So Jones, after incurring around $2 million in fines and forfeiting a $1.1 million game check, opted for the chance to earn up to $25 million on a one-year incentive-laden deal. This is hardly ideal, but here's the win. I don't think you're going to like this, because this is going to burst your bubble that you've been living in. This is Jeremy Fowler saying this, so it depends on how much you trust Jeremy Fowler before I say this.
I mean, he seems like a pretty reputable source usually,
Okay,
right?
All right. The Chiefs likely won't pay a franchise tag that could swing above $30 million for Jones due to his massive 2023 cap hit. So he's set to become the top free agent in March at age 29. How would that change things for you?
Well, what did they get, like a third-round pick if he goes as a free agent?
Yep.
Yes.
It's disappointing they couldn't trade him for more, but I guess if they can't, they can't. They got to settle for a draft pick.
We'll trade him for nothing. I wouldn't trade him at all.
That's what I mean. But if they get a third-round pick, that's like trading him, I guess.
Is it?
Well, I mean, it's not as good of a draft pick compensation as you would get in a trade. That's what I'm saying. That's what you have to settle for. That's disappointing.
Well, yeah, right?
Yeah. But you might have to do it. You might have to let him walk if you can't come to terms on a reasonable contract.
And again, he described it. Here's the win. That's the only way to me that could be described. This all could be described as a win for Chris Jones, in my opinion.
Right.
If he gets to walk and just he's a free agent and pick his spot and that's it, not to deal with it,
Yeah, go to the highest bidder.
Right.
Yeah.
And that would disappoint. Well, I mean, it would be disappointing for people expecting that the Chiefs could get a like what we were talking about with Jeff Chedilla, right?
Yeah. Like, you feel like if they had traded him this offseason before the draft, they could have gotten, what, a first-round pick plus more?
I mean, I don't know. You think, but, again, it's not just finding a team that's willing to give up their compensation and then finding a team that's willing to meet his very high contract demands.
Right.
Like, I don't know for sure that he's going to get what he wants in the open market.
No. Well, and some of that might depend on what he does this year.
I know one team that wasn't willing to give it.
Right.
And
obviously they're different players, but somebody was willing to trade a lot for Tyreek Hill and pay him. So I feel like somebody would have.
Big age difference there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just think about some of the things that you say, right? how much you want to give a 30-year-old defensive tackle. You have to find that balance, okay? Like for Tyreek Hill, sure, you're paying for what he did, but with a straight face, you could say we're also going to pay him for what he's going to do in our uniform. Look what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to say with a straight face to make it work, yeah, we're paying for what he did, but what's he going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that you could have the same optimism about what Chris Jones will do moving forward at that age that you would about Tyreek Hill at his age.
Right. That's fair.
So I think there would be some reservation there. And but I mean, yeah, it really just, I know you said too, it just takes one dumb team to get desperate.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, so one team that thinks they're a defensive tackle away from saving the GM's job or saving the head coach's job.
But boy, he could end up in a bad spot where he's getting like Tyreek Hill. That ended up for him. That's pretty damn good as far as getting paid like he wants in a high octane offense like he wanted, and with a team that at least we can all they're contenders.
They sure look like it. Yeah,
I'll say Super Bowl contender.
Okay,
that wouldn't they're not, I don't think they're the favorites. I don't even know if they're. I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to put them ahead of Cincinnati yet. I'm not going to put them ahead of Buffalo yet. I need more than 1 week. I'm just, you know what I mean? But I'm going to tell you there'd be no shock to me if Tua's healthy in the playoffs that Miami won a game or two and then put themselves in a position where they could get to the championship game.
Not at all.
Not with that damn offense, right? And they're getting Jalen Ramsey back, so that's a true contender. And he's getting the ball like he wants, and he got paid. It's hard to check off all those boxes. Chris Jones might get paid by someone, but also it might be, apologies, Bears fans, that might be in Chicago, where destination is not Super Bowl. I mean, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's hard to check all those boxes. And so truly, for the Chiefs and for Tyreek Hill, even though Tyreek Hill might have a little bit of, oh damn, they won another Super Bowl. I think he's pretty happy for what his needs were, and that truly could be described as a deal where everyone got what they wanted. And even though the Dolphins didn't go as far in the playoffs as they wanted to last year, that was because of the quarterback situation. But did Tyreek Hill live up to what they thought he'd be as a player?
Oh yeah,
I think maybe he exceeded it. He was great. He was great.
Yep. Looks like, and he's off to a good start this year.
Yeah, he was okay last week too. Against the Chargers, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the Chiefs got everything they could have possibly wanted out of that deal. Great. Sometimes that's a good deal. But that's just I thought that was interesting from Jeremy Fowler.
Yeah. And I think
of note.
I think Jeff pointed that out when he was on with us that's a big salary cap number.
Or they're talking over $32 million.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot to commit yourself to if you can't end up trading him. And so maybe,
and they got a lot of other guys to take care of.
Yep.
And I don't know about you, but I personally, from the perspective of a talk show host, from the perspective of a Chiefs fan, from any perspective, I do not want to go through any type of Chris Jones drama anymore. Katz Brothers, any of it, done.
You don't want to do this over again next year?
Would you like to?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do it again.
No.
It was fun.
It wasn't.
Gave us something to talk about every day.
It didn't. It forced us to talk about something that I didn't want to talk to on many days.
Right.
So I will agree to disagree with you. There were plenty of days that I had other things I wanted to talk about, but we had to, here's the Chris Jones.
Yeah.
There were a couple of days where it was funny.
Yeah.
Kind of, but not really. I mean, when Chris Jones talked about buttholes, that was a day we'll remember, and that gave us a drop that we'll keep playing forever.
What can I say? Opinions are like buttholes. Everybody got them and they all stink, right? So, some going to like it, some going to respect it, and some is going to dislike it.
So that's a win for the Border Patrol. You talk about what's a win in this for Chris Jones, what's a win in this for the Chiefs. A win for us is we have a drop Chris Jones talking about buttholes.
Winning.
Not
I mean, wasn't that worth it?
No.
No.
But I'll take it. No, not for overall. No, overall,
Okay.
no. I'm gonna
Still
I'm
a
gonna,
net negative.
I'm gonna tell you. Do you think Andy Reid thought it was a win? Him being asked about it 4,500 times.
But I said that thing about buttholes, though. Doggone it, that was,
Can you? But I wish we had some type of audio or anything of like after the camera shut off, like what he would say to Chiefs PR, or just what he would say privately, what he would say about Chris Jones, or getting asked about it
Get
repeatedly.
this doggone guy in camp, huh?
There might have been some more colorful language. I've heard Andy has some nice, colorful language sometimes when there's,
When the cameras aren't rolling.
Yeah. I bet you that might have caused that.
Is he F-bomb guy?
Oh, I don't think, but I think I think he's like, we've heard this before from players. He's like a grandfather that really never cusses unless you get him really, really mad, because then when you do hear him cuss, boy, you know that the blank has hit the fan then. And so,
Ooh,
right,
big red cussed.
But I just think at some point he probably got tired of hearing about it, knowing Andy Reid the way we do.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to answer questions about injured players, and he certainly doesn't want to answer players about or questions about players that aren't there because of holdouts or anything. We've heard that before.
He doesn't want to get pummeled.
No, he doesn't want to hear it.
If I get pummeled, right, I want everybody to hear that. If I get pummeled on who's here and not here, we'll just do the one.
Let's hear Andy Reid. Number 10, Andy Reid was asked how big it is to have Chris Jones back in the fold.
Yeah, Chris is a good football player, so having him back in is he's an important part of it, and we're glad he's back. We'll just see where he's at physically as we go. He normally keeps himself in pretty good shape, so we'll see how he does out there today. I'm gonna take it day by day and just see how he does.
And is there some benefit specifically to just having that, whatever you want to call it, distraction behind you, and just he's here? Does that help you?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I tell you about it is it's good to have him back. I mean, and that's not. I thought the other guys did a nice job the other night when they had an opportunity. So, and we really didn't let that be a distraction. He needed to do what he did, or had to do, and we had to do what we had to do. And now he's back, and that's part of the business. And everybody kind of puts the business side, when you're getting ready for a game, on the side, and you go with the guys that are there. So we're glad he's back in, though. He's a good football player.
At the end of the day, we're all glad that he's back. And the holdout is over.
Yeah. Yeah, water under the bridge now.
So.
I agree. Andy Reid twice there pointing out Chris Jones is a good football player.
Yep.
Hard to argue with that.
No disputing that. So we'll be right back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're tuned into the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bukaty on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Oh, football is back. Chris Jones.
at the Schlotzky's right down the street from us here in Overland Park off 120th and Metcalf. I'll be there today from 11 until 1, and then right after that I get to go have a root canal. So big afternoon for me, huh?
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Oh, ho, ho. Mm-hmm. Cracked tooth. Inflamed nerve. Red ass.
Can't do it.
In that order. So come out and wish me well. If you want to stop in and register for some prizes, we've got delicious food specials. Man, I need some Schlotzky's. I don't know how I'm going to feel afterwards. I'm going to have a nice lunch.
Yeah, well, you don't want to be eating anything after the root canal, so you might as well eat something beforehand.
I can chew on the right side.
Yeah, it's just dangerous to I've had problems chewing food after a dental procedure.
I'll get some of that delicious baked potato soup.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
I mean, but you can eat before, right?
Yeah. But I would like to eat again someday.
Well,
tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to.
Yeah. Once the.
I'm not going to leave the dentist chair, go to my car, and just start. I'm gonna wait.
Well.
Like tonight.
Yeah.
Right for Din.
Schlotzky's is delicious in all ways, but I'm a huge fan of the potato chips.
For $5.99, then you can get a small original Schlotzky sandwich, chips in a 32-ounce drink. That's pretty good, people.
It's a great deal. And the original Schlotzky's is a really good sandwich.
A sandwich, chips, and a 32-ounce drink. Specials good at all locations during that time. Blue Springs, Lee Summit, Overland Park, Olathe. So come on in and see me and get the small original, the chips that Nate loves, Nate's precious chips, and a 32-ounce drink for just $5.99 today from 11 until 1. You could register to win, and so you don't come up there and say, hey, give me those tickets, Steven. That's not how it works, Marco. Marco sends people all the time to my remote saying, Marco said, just hand me these tickets. I said, no. No. Bad Marco.
Did they tell you that I told him to say that?
Yeah. Marco said, hand me the tickets. I go, what the hell did Marco say that for? You can register to win. Now, I'm just going to, I'm just for the people from 11 until 1. So again, this will not be, I'm taking entries from multiple remotes on multiple days. Just for the people that drop their name in the box from 11 until 1, I will draw at 1. And we'll draw for 2 tickets to see Nickelback. Perhaps you could take Phil St. John. He'd love it. 2 tickets to Jason Aldean. You could take Jamie Bluma. He'd love it. Or 4 tickets to a Kansas volleyball game. You could take Nate and maybe Nate's daughter. I don't know if she loves volleyball, but maybe she could.
She's never played volleyball, but I'm sure she would have a good time. I mean, volleyball is a really fun sport to watch.
Volleyball is a really fun sport for a young lady, unless your name is Julia. So, you want to go watch your sister play volleyball tonight? Why would I? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, ma'am.
Clearly you wouldn't.
I apologize for asking. No, volleyball is awesome.
It's great. It's great sport
in
to watch.
College volleyball is exciting.
Heck yeah.
That's something you could take the kids to.
That's true.
And take them to some of your old haunts. This is where Daddy would get dragged out of at 3 a.m. Look here.
I don't think I ever got dragged out of a single bar during my time at KU. Is that
dragged
lame?
in? How about that?
Yeah,
this is where Daddy would get dragged in at midnight. This is where This is where Daddy what?
This is where Daddy wasn't able to get in for the first 3 years of his college career because he looked like he was 14.
This is the bar where Daddy heard a word repeatedly, a word no.
This is where Dad failed to get many phone numbers.
Right. Whatever.
Yeah.
It gives you a chance to get back to your old stomping grounds. So if you come on in, you can register to win tickets to Nickelback, tickets to Jason Aldean, tickets to KU volleyball, and get a great lunch special for $5.99. Small original sandwich chips at a 32-ounce drink at Schlotsky's right next to us here at 120th and Metcalf today from 11 until 1.
KU volleyball ranked number 20 in the country.
So why don't you want to go see him?
I would love to go see them. Those
That's why I'm
tickets
giving
would be
away
great.
these tickets are a hot item.
Red hot.
Mm-hmm. You want to hear Kadarius Toney was not red hot the last game. He was playing volleyball. He was batting that thing all over.
Setting that ball.
Yeah.
Set it right up into the air.
Nice job, Kadarius. No.
Good bump.
I could tell you that right after the game, I went into the locker room searching for Kadarius Toney. Couldn't find him because that's who I wanted to talk to.
Yep.
But he was gone, much like Nicolas Cage, gone in 60 seconds after the game.
Not available to the media.
Because there was an extra lengthy wait to get in the locker room, and we were discussing things, and we all were playing a little game called "What are the chances Kadarius Toney will be seen in this locker room?" And the correct answer was nil.
That's definitely something you can get away with in Kansas City that you can't get away with in a place like New York or something. They would just destroy a guy for ducking the media after a game like that.
Well, he just wasn't there. Maybe you could say a lot of things. He's getting treatment. He was in the shower. He was in the tub.
Yeah, you could say a lot of things.
Well, no one said anything there. So what are you going to say? He's not there. Where's he at?
Yeah.
Because it's open locker room.
Right. I'm just saying that's something you can get away with here. Like people, no one's gonna trash you too much for it here, but
I didn't expect him to be in there.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of guys that are always in there that talk.
Yeah.
And we talk to them.
Well, the old adage that I would always hear when I worked, like I remember covering the Royals clubhouse for 15 years, and I talked to a lot of guys that had played in New York and asked them about, hey, is it really that tough media wise there, and all that stuff, and I remember being told many times, well, as long as you're at your locker after you go 0 for 4 with an error, just like you are at your locker to talk after you go 4 for 4 with the game-winning home run, they will give you the benefit of the doubt. But if you're there to talk about all your great games, but then you have a terrible game and you're nowhere to be found, they will come after you.
Well,
but
Kadarius Toney did have a sampling of the New York media.
Yeah, that didn't seem to suit him very well, did it?
Here, he was at the podium yesterday, so there you go. Kadarius Toney was asked, number 16, Sweet 16, please. Kadarius Toney was asked what happened against Detroit.
In reality, how I look at it, how I told Coach, how I told Pat, all the guys, that's on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, y'all count on me and rely on me to make certain plays, and I got to be there to do that. It ain't really no excuse, you know what I'm saying? Nothing you could blame it on, none of that. I'm a man. I just said what I'm saying about it.
Kadarius, do you find anything common in what went wrong the other night that you see as easily fixable or that you have to work through?
Nah, I just got to put the work in, hard work, Spend 30 minutes hour after practice, catching from the quarterback, whatever I got to do. I just got to make sure I show up when it's time.
Get that work with the jugs machine. Here, Kadarius Toney was asked what Andy Reid said to him after the game.
Just settle down. Just be the person I am. Never try to overdo or overstep what I normally do. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to be a superhero when, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like I said, just make plays when it's time to make them.
You get the similar kind of message from Patrick, or I'm sure Patrick.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. Both of those guys, they got trust, they got faith in me, and I appreciate those guys. Appreciate those guys for that. And like I said, you got to go put the work in. I ain't really too much talk when we left.
Here's a heartwarming story. Kadarius Toney was asked about his relationship with Giants fans.
The trade has been a motivating factor for you, as you go on.
Nah, it ain't really motivating. I don't really care about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to Pete's question about the trade not being a motivating factor, can you explain, though, why the Giants do seem to be an obsession for you, at least on social media?
It's not an obsession. They troll me, I troll them back at the end of the day. But like I said, I'm just focused on what I got going on now. I'm not really studying that.
You're not really ignoring them. You kind of are focusing on them on social media.
He's not obsessed, though. He's just trolling.
No, he's not obsessed, but it's like, like if he says he's not worried about them, he's focused on what he's got. That's not totally true.
He was pretty quick on the draw when they got their butts kicked, wasn't he?
Kind of focused on that. and you're kind of worried about what's going on.
Yeah.
That's fine. No, whatever. Okay, let's play 14 from Reed. Here is Andy Reid when he was asked about Kadarius Toney and if he thinks he's ready to bounce back.
Yeah. He the best way to get rid of that is to go out and practice and then get back in the game and do better. So I think I'm not worried about him there. He's a competitive kid and a heck of a player. So I told you before, I kind of put him in a position where it's tough, but he had to get in there and do what he did, get it caught up to speed, but he had no training yet. So I thought it was important that he got in, and then he's going to catch most of those.
You want me to take it to the top, Marco? I'd love to do it for you if that's what you want, because we can listen to Todd Lebo talking to Derek Nottie. Why not?
I don't know. Todd already screwed up with the toss earlier.
He tested me. I passed it. That's fine.
Noted.
Todd likes to try to keep me sharp.
I guess you can reward him.
All right, here in the locker room, there was an open locker room yesterday after the podium. Here, Derek Nottie said he's happy to have Chris Jones back with the team.
I mean, honestly, it's just kind of having like my friends back. Everybody likes having Chris around. It's good for the locker room. Of course, good for the team, good for the defense. Yeah, that's really it.
When this was going on, it's business. You understand that, right? This is how this goes. Did you think it was going to be over sooner than later? And you knew he would be back here at some point?
Personally, I did not give it any type of thoughts whatsoever because, like you said, it's a business. At that part, Chris can handle the situation. All I can do is support him. He's my friend. He's my team. He's my dog. So whatever he got to do to get what he needs to get done for him and his family, I have no right to say whatever I say.
So I'm going to ask you about the Jags in a second, but when he comes back, I've heard a lot of you guys over the years talk about how when Chris is on the field, it makes everything else that all of y'all do easier, right? Because he takes up two people and then takes a lot of the stuff. You guys played great the other night defensively, but what can he help you guys with all across the entire defense with his presence?
Well, I mean, with him added to the mix, it helps everybody mesh a lot better. He's an elite pass rusher, and he brings that to every single game. That's a big plus for the D-line and for the defense in general. So, yeah, having Chris Jones back is great for everybody.
Now, these Jags, you guys announced 3 times you'll play them in less than a year. What do you think you've learned about them and what they can do and like how confident maybe they're playing right now?
I mean, I feel like they probably felt like they almost got it last time, so I feel they're going to be hungry and motivated to take us down. So it's up to us to stop that from happening. We've been playing them 3 times in the past 2 years, so we know them, they know us. It's all about who wants them more.
What's the biggest challenge when you're facing them?
I mean, they got weapons on the offensive side from ETN, of course, Trevor, I can't even say his name. I don't say his name personally because I went to Florida State.
That's very good. I understand. Him?
Yeah. I ain't calling him either.
Yeah. That guy.
Yeah, so I mean, he has a lot of weapons to his disposal, as well as him with a great head coach for Doug Patterson. I feel like they're a great team overall. When things are meshing well with them, they can be a dominant team.
It's going to be their home opener. They got to win on the road. You guys lost us at home. This is a big game, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's a big game because it's the next game.
You worried about the game plan that Doug Patterson's going to roll out there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Marco, I know his name.
Sometimes you worry me. I'm sorry.
That's what you get for criticizing a player. Just focus on the game plan. He doesn't need to know the coach's name.
That's right. He was close.
George Peterson. Wow. That's right. You saw O.J. Simpson's comments about Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that wasn't good, was it?
We're not playing that.
Nope.
Almost getting ready to send those to Marco, but now we are not. Boy, that was good. I'm glad I caught that one.
Oof.
Wow. Well, saved you from that one, KC. We'll take a break. Back after this on WHP.
The Border Patrol with Stephen St. John.